They rob cars, destroy crops, and laugh at our attempts to stop them. These are criminals, they're baboons. Wild, smart, and absolutely ruthless towards human problems. They have mastered our world better than we have and now dictate their own rules. Ready to find out who is really winning this war between civilization and nature? Let's go. In the scorching wastelands of Africa, where temperatures reach 50 degrees and the sun scorches all living things, it's not lions or cheetahs that rule. The true masters of these lands are the baboons. These primates, with their predatory grins and steel muscles, have mastered territories where other monkeys wouldn't survive a day. Their kingdom stretches from the rocky cliffs of Ethiopia to the arid plains of southern Africa. Unlike their forest-dwelling relatives, baboons prefer open spaces, rocky plateaus, semi-deserts, and even mountain slopes at altitudes of up to 4,000 meters. Their paws, resembling human hands but with dagger-like claws, allow them to climb sheer cliffs with frightening ease. A distinctive feature of baboons is their incredible adaptability. While most primates cling to the vanishing forests, these gray-brown monkeys have learned to survive under any conditions, in the scorching heat by conserving water, and by hiding in the shade of cliffs. Among the thorny acacias, whose spines are not a threat to their tough skin, alongside predators from which other animals flee without looking back. Their troops, numbering up to 200 individuals, patrol territories the size of a small town. Every evening they return to the same rock sleeping sites, impregnable fortresses that no leopard can reach. These cliffs are crisscrossed with trails that baboons have used for centuries, passing down knowledge from generation to generation. But the true strength of baboons lies not in their muscles, but in their minds. They remember every fruit-bearing tree in their territory, recognize poisonous plants, and warn their kin of danger with a complex system of calls. Their social structure is so developed that scientists compare it to primitive human society. And yet, even these kings of the savannah are vulnerable. Beneath this deceptively ordinary monkey appearance lies a perfect fighting machine, honed by millions of years of evolution. Get ready, we're going to break down this beauty piece by piece. Let's start with the main weapon, the jaws. An adult male baboon's canines can reach 5 centimeters in length, comparable to those of a leopard. The bite force is over 500 newtons, enough to snap your finger with a single motion. Meanwhile, its jaws work like hydraulic scissors, capable of crushing bone or tearing flesh. Now let's take a look at the paws. Each hand is armed with claws that are more accurately described as daggers. They do not retract like a cat's and are always ready for battle. The thumbs are particularly impressive. Opposable and muscular, they provide a deadly grip. But the most astonishing feature is their back. The powerful shoulder muscles allow the baboon to make jumps up to 3 meters long. And its fur is not just a coat, but a natural bulletproof vest. The dense undercoat protects against acacia thorns, and the stiff guard hairs prevent predators' teeth from reaching the skin. The baboon's eyes are a story of their own. Set close together like a predator's, they provide stereoscopic vision. Their irises are dark brown, almost black, creating the effect of a deep, endless gaze. When a baboon looks at you, it seems like it's calculating your every muscle. And now for the sad part, or rather, the rear end. Bright pink, blue, or red, depending on the species, it serves not only for intimidation. It's a complex thermoregulator and a health indicator. Females choose males based on the intensity of the color. The brighter it is, the stronger the immunity. But don't be fooled by their comical faces. An adult male baboon weighing 40 kilograms can tear apart a dog, fend off a jackal, and even scare a young leopard. Their reaction time is 3 times faster than a human's, and their endurance allows them to run up to 20 kilometers a day. The breeding season turns the measured life of a baboon troop into a true theater of war. During this period, the alpha male, usually confident in his superiority, becomes a pathologically jealous tyrant. He literally keeps a close watch on his harem of 5 to 7 females, thwarting any attempts by rivals to approach them. However, nature has endowed the subdominant males with remarkable ingenuity. They have developed an entire arsenal of tricks to circumvent the prohibitions. Some arrange secret meetings, leading the females to secluded spots behind rocks or into dense thickets. Others form temporary alliances, while 3 distract the alpha with feigned threats at the territory's border. The 4th manages to mate with a female. The most cunning use bribery, spending hours grooming the female's fur and caring for their offspring to win favor. But the true strategists in these games turn out to be the females. They are not passive prizes at all, but experienced manipulators. Adult females intentionally flirt with young males right in front of the alpha, provoking bloody confrontations. Some artificially extend their fertility period by mating with several males in succession. Their ability to choose partners based on completely unexpected criteria is particularly impressive. Some prefer males, with the highest quality grooming skills. Others choose based on battle scars, and some on the ability to procure rare treats. Pregnancy in baboons lasts about 6 months, a time of relative calm. Just before giving birth, the female usually isolates herself, but returns to the troop just a few hours after the baby is born. The newborn baboon demonstrates remarkable tenacity from the very first moments of life. Its tiny fingers grip the mother's fur with a death grip, and in this position, it spends the first weeks, not letting go of the mother for a second. Interestingly, the alpha male can recognize his offspring by subtle scent markers. It is these young ones that he will protect most fiercely. The other offspring have to rely solely on their mother's vigilance and luck. The statistics are ruthless. About half of the young do not survive the first year. Those who survive are mostly the ones whose mothers hold a high position in the troop's hierarchy and can provide them with protection and better food resources. The next time you hear complaints about the difficulties of modern dating, think of baboons. Imagine that your potential partner is under the constant watch of an armed-to-the-teeth bodyguard, and any wrong move could cost you your life. Now that's truly extreme relationships. In the world of baboons, there is no democracy. Here, a brutal order prevails, where every step is regulated and disobedience is punished immediately. Their troop is not just a group of animals, but, as you have already understood, a highly organized system with a clear structure, where each member has their own role and responsibilities. At the top of this pyramid sits the alpha male, the leader, who has earned his status through bloody battles. His power is absolute, but fragile. The average reign lasts no more than 2 years, after which he is overthrown by a younger and stronger contender. The alpha male is easily recognizable by his proud posture, shiny coat, and distinctive manner of movement. He never rushes, knowing that all paths belong to him. Next to the alpha is a close circle of associates, a few adult males who serve as his personal guard. They receive privileges in the form of access to food and females, but they pay for this with a constant readiness to protect the leader. These bodyguards are the first candidates for the alpha position when he weakens. Below in the hierarchy are the adult males of middle rank. This is the largest and most unstable group. They are constantly sorting out relationships among themselves, forming temporary alliances and conspiracies. It is from their ranks that future leaders most often emerge. A special caste is made up of young male adolescents. They are already mature enough to pose a threat, but still too inexperienced for serious power struggles. The pack keeps them under strict control, often sending them on dangerous missions to be the first to explore new territories or check water sources for predators. Females form a parallel hierarchical structure. Their status is determined not so much by physical strength as by age, experience, and connections. Older females hold unquestionable authority and often influence the leader's decisions. Interestingly, daughters inherit the social status of their mothers. At the very bottom of the social ladder are the outcasts, individuals rejected by the pack for some reason. These can be sick animals, very old males, or unsuccessful rebels. Their fate is unenviable. Without the protection of the pack, they rarely live more than a few months. Every morning in the pack begins with rituals to confirm status. Younger individuals demonstratively present their backsides to the alpha, the highest sign of submission. Mid-ranking males rub against the dominants, leaving scent marks. Those who made a mistake yesterday crawl on their bellies today, begging for forgiveness. During movement, the pack maintains a strict battle formation. Young male scouts lead the vanguard, adult warriors move on the flanks, and in the center are females with young and pregnant individuals. The alpha with his personal guard brings up the rear of the column. This discipline is the key to survival in the savannah, where danger lurks at every turn. If after this chapter you think that office politics are simple, remember the baboons. They invented politics millions of years before humans came down from the trees. Baboons, those brazen monkeys, regularly snatch prey from leopards and hyenas. These are not random skirmishes, but a well-thought-out tactic honed over generations. Here's how their criminal scheme works. The troop sends out scouts, young males with sharp eyesight. They track predators that have just caught prey. As soon as a leopard takes down an antelope, the scouts give a signal with a sharp bark, audible for a kilometer. Within minutes, the entire troop converges on the scene. 20, 30 adult males surround the predator. They don't rush in immediately. First, there is a psychological attack. The baboons ostentatiously yawn, showing their fangs, beat their paws on the ground, and throw stones. A leopard capable of killing any baboon alone retreats in front of such an organized crowd. With hyenas, the tactic is different. The baboons know these scavengers are more cowardly than leopards. A few adult males are enough to drive away an entire clan. But the true masters of theft are the young male adolescents. While the troop distracts the predator, they sneak up from behind and snatch pieces of meat. Their agility is astonishing. In 5 seconds, a monkey can snatch a chop right from under a lioness's nose. After a successful raid, the troop divides the spoils according to rank. The alpha gets the best pieces, then his close associates, and then the rest. The females and young make do with the leftovers, but even that's better than nothing. If you think that organized crime is purely a human phenomenon, meet the baboons. They rob more professionally than many criminal groups, doing it in broad daylight and completely with impunity. If you think baboons are just wild animals that fear human cities like the plague, then you are clearly underestimating them. These guys have not only adapted to the urban environment, they've turned it into their personal supermarket, and people into powerless witnesses of their daring raids. And yes, this is not about funny memes of a monkey with a bag of chips. This is a real war for resources, where baboons are desperate saboteurs, and humans are not always the winning side. Let's start with South Africa, where baboons have long transitioned from being modest savannah dwellers to professional marauders. Cities like Cape Town have become not just a place for excursions, but a full-fledged feeding ground for them. They have learned to open cars, steal food from homes, rob tourists, and even escape from traps set for them. And the most frustrating part is, they do it with such brazen calmness, as if it's not a crime but their legal right. And people themselves have created the perfect conditions for baboon crime. Unattended trash bins, food left out, open windows for these primates. It's like a feast laid out before a hungry guest. And if baboons realize that they can regularly get food in a certain place without much risk, they remember it and return again and again. And it would be one thing if they just took and left. No, they even mockingly taunt. There are known cases where troops deliberately tease dogs to make them bark and attract the owner's attention. Meanwhile, other members of the group calmly cleaned out the kitchen. But people, of course, are not going to give up without a fight. Everything is used: fences, alarms, rubber bullets, even trained dogs. In some areas of South Africa, special baboon patrols have appeared, groups of people who scare away the monkeys, preventing them from entering residential areas. But baboons quickly adapt. If previously the sight of a person with a slingshot made them retreat, now they have learned to assess the distance and understand when the threat is real and when it can simply be ignored. A more serious problem is the conflicts with farmers. Baboons love fruits, vegetables, and young shoots of agricultural crops. A single troop can destroy the harvest of an entire field overnight, leaving the farmer with huge losses. The countermeasures are often harsh: shooting, traps, poisons. But even here, baboons demonstrate remarkable resilience. They learn to avoid traps, recognize poison baits, and even remember the faces of those who pose a threat to them. And here arises the main question: who has tamed whom? People try to control the baboons, but they only become smarter and more cunning. They don't just survive in the human world, they adapt to it, subjugate it, and turn it into a part of their habitat. And if this continues, perhaps in a couple of decades, we will be dealing not with wild animals, but with full-fledged urban gangs, with their own laws, routes, and criminal specializations. But what will happen if people completely lose their patience? Will they intensify the fight or, on the contrary, find a way to coexist? And most importantly, will the baboons disappear in this unequal struggle? While scientists meticulously calculate population declines, the baboons themselves behave as if they haven't heard about their supposed vulnerability. These furry strategists continue to hone their skills as urban raiders, demonstrating a remarkable ability to adapt to changing conditions. According to the latest data, 5 out of 6 baboon species are indeed declining in numbers. The situation is particularly alarming for the Guinea baboon, whose population has decreased by almost half over the past 3 decades. However, their baboon counterparts, on the contrary, are thriving, having mastered the art of survival in urbanized environments. Three main threats cast doubt on the future of these primates. First, the rapid reduction of their natural habitat. Second, poaching. After all, baboon meat is still considered a delicacy in some regions. Third, inevitable conflicts with farmers, whose crops regularly become targets of raids by hungry troops. But there's no need to rush to pessimistic forecasts. Baboons have repeatedly demonstrated their phenomenal ability to learn. They have mastered complex food-finding strategies in cities, learned to avoid traps, and even started to distinguish the degree of real danger posed by humans. The key question is whether these intellectuals of the animal world can adapt faster than their natural habitat is disappearing. So far, the balance is tipping in their favor, but only if humans find a reasonable compromise between the development of civilization and the preservation of wildlife. Baboons are not just surviving, they are evolving before our eyes. These furry geniuses of adaptation are challenging civilization, and the outcome of this battle is still unclear. Do you want to find out how this thrilling duel between humans and nature will end? There are many more amazing stories ahead about how wild animals are conquering our urbanized world. Give a like if you're rooting for the baboons and write in the comments who you think will ultimately win this territorial war. See you next time in the world of wildlife.